Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your day today, guys. Thank you. Happy Friday night. Happy Easter, Passover, whatever you guys celebrate. If nothing, happy weekend. Guys, I got a question. Why do you think Kevin Frankie isn't being charged for something? Think about it. Before the kids were taken to Jody's house, Jody supposedly moved into the Frankie household and wouldn't let Kevin upstairs, yet she and Ruby shared Kevin's and Ruby's bedroom. Now, I don't know if something was going on. I think Jody's gay. I don't know if there were acts of that. I do think that this deep-seated anger towards kids and weird obsession that Jody has something to do with the fact that she can't be open about her sexuality. And I think her sexuality, I think she's gay. There's no excuse. No excuse. But no excuse for Kevin either. How does a man leave his kids for a year without contacting them, without checking up on them, believing somewhere in his head that it's best for them? How does somebody become so manipulated so quickly? And should that person be a parent? Do you think the kids are safe with somebody like him when he paid no attention to his parental role as patriarch of the family? He did not have the kids' best interests at heart. I think he thinks he's madly in love with Ruby, and everything else is second, third, fourth, and fifth. And there was no connection apparently with his children, because after his wife gets arrested for child abuse, he wants to press charges against his oldest daughter, who goes into the house to get stuff for her siblings who now need a place to stay. So how manipulated were these people? Or was it really just pop out the kids because that's what it's supposed to be and there's no connection there? And how culpable can Kevin Frankie be? He told, after he saw pictures of his son and pretended to cry, after he saw pictures of the kids that were in Jody's house and pretended to cry, or maybe cried, he told Ruby that he supported her. He was listening to Ruby talk about how you can't tell evil and that a lot of people don't think evil can exist inside of a child. We know that she was fed this horse shit after she had her own darkness. She enjoyed the torture she had on those kids, because if you don't, you just don't behave like that. Maybe she was fed all that crap and confused by Jody. Still unacceptable. Unacceptable. To me, how different is that than having somebody come into your life and do other horrible things to your children and you know about it? There's no excuse for that. The thing that pisses me off is the sentencing, which we'll get into it. It's got its ups and it's got its downsides, I guess. We'll talk about it. But anyway, what I'm saying is, Kevin Frankie, is there never going to be any charges against him? He's just going to walk away scot-free? His kids, I'm telling you, like, how could his kids believe that he would protect them? Dads are supposed to protect their children. Kevin Frankie just gave up because some woman who has a degree, doesn't necessarily right or wrong. Has he never come across people that just because they have a degree could be wrong in their opinion of things? I mean, no critical thinking. That just totally went out the toilet for this guy. And he still supports his wife. Well, now he's saying what? That he's going to divorce her. I don't think he should have his kids. I don't really care what happens to the guy. The whole world should know about him. But he should also be held accountable for not keeping up his responsibility of protecting his children. How did he think in his head that even if he was believed, and here's the thing, he was forced to believe that he had, I guess, perverted sexual desires because he wanted to sleep with his wife. There's nothing perverted about that. He's never been accused of forcing himself or anything like that. But because he had healthy, which appears to be healthy sexual desires, some woman with a degree decided that he's addicted to pornography and that he manipulates his wife for sex. Well, probably a lot of people manipulate their wives for that, and probably a lot of wives manipulate their husbands for that, and a lot of same partner relationships, probably so. How does it go to, I can't spend time with my children? Why? You could think whatever you want, but I can't spend time with my children. Why? Why doesn't something inside of him say, no, 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 no. I have to see my kids. I have to check on my kids. They're part of me. That's a commitment I made to them when they were born. My wife, do whatever you want. I have to see my kids. You don't get to do that. Why didn't he fight back? And what's it going to cost him now? What do you guys think about this? Guys, I want to know, do you think Kevin Frankie should be doing some time? Or do you think he should just be left alone scot-free? Do you think he should get his kids back? What do you guys think? I want to know, so tell me in the chat. But also, this is what I wanted to tell you about real quick, just about the case. Okay, so they were charged, Jody and Ruby were charged with 1 to 15 years for 4 counts, but they have to cap it 30. Okay, so the most they could do is 30 years. But they could do as little as 4 years. But here's the thing. In that state, which is Utah, they have the parole and the pardon board take care of that. So whenever the parole and the pardon board feels like they've done enough or they've behaved themselves or whatever they have to meet to get on parole, that's what it's going to take. So every day they will be on their best behavior so that maybe in 4 years they will get off. They will get out of jail. So that's an incentive, right? And you have to remember, most people behave themselves in jail because in jail you're waiting to go to trial. You're waiting to find out if you're going to go home or not. Whatever, you're waiting to find out your sentencing, and how you behave in jail often is going to say, hey, by the way, this person's horrible in jail. They haven't learned anything. There's no remorse. There's no nothing. So people tend to behave better in jail because that's where they are before they tend to get their sentencing. And then if they get their sentencing and they only have a little bit of time, they want to behave so that they can get good time to get out of jail. When they get in prison, it's a different story. Because prison, usually you know how much time you're doing, and that's that. And in prison, they might have a problem because of what they did with these kids. Because they don't go for that in prison. And people in prison, I don't know how it's going to be in Utah, again, because they give you an incentive to behave in Utah so that you can get out. You can get out within the time frame that the judge has sentenced you to, 1 to 15 years consecutively. At the earliest 4 years, right? So they might be on their best behavior to get out in that time. They might not get out in that time. God, I hope not. But also, I would assume that the other inmates are trying to be on their best behavior too, so that they could get out at the earliest of their sentencing as well. So I guess there's incentive in that. That's pretty cool. I've never really heard of that before. I don't know. Guys, what do you think about all of this? This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Please communicate in the chat, share, subscribe, like. If you don't like me at the end, you can unsubscribe. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks. See you next time. Don't forget, be better today than you were yesterday, but not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.